Good day, thank you for watching this video. My name is Dr. Rapiti, and today I want to talk to you about a mental illness that afflicts so many people throughout the world, and that is depression. Depression must rank amongst the highest number or the greatest incidence of mental illnesses amongst all illnesses. And unfortunately, in spite of so much being known about depression, so few people are diagnosed with the condition, so few people are therefore treated, and therefore so many people end up suffering with this highly treatable condition. It is thought that 1 in 5 people do suffer from depression, and probably 90% will have some episode of depression. And I would like to delve briefly into what are the symptoms of depression and why it is missed. The depression is a constellation of a number of symptoms, and they can vary from individual to individual. And the most common symptom is one of feeling extremely down, feeling irritable, feeling unhappy, feeling sad, having lack of appetite. On the other hand, one can eat too much as a means of comfort eating. Then sleep is extremely disturbed. Either one sleeps too little or sleeps too much. Most often people would just love to sleep, be in a dark room, and they will open their eyes. Then there's this feeling of being tired all the time, muscle pains, having no energy. Like one person with depression mentioned in his book what depression felt like, speaking about his own life. It is a situation where one cannot feel happy when everybody else is feeling happy, no matter how much you try. It's a mood disorder, and not everybody ends up wanting to commit suicide, but the thought does rankle in one's mind who's got prolonged depression, that life's not worth living. They would say things, for example, I wish I could go far away, never come back, or my life would end right now. And in a very desperate situation, when they cannot get out of that state of total depression, they might want to commit suicide. So if one had to have at least 5 of those symptoms for more than 2 weeks, one would diagnose that as having depression. Just to recap: feeling down, crying, feeling morbid, a lack of an appetite, losing weight, having no interest in doing things, not feeling, poor performance in work, and forgetfulness. These are some of the main ones that we could consider in depression. Now you might want to ask, what are the causes of depression? In surprisingly a vast number of people do not have a cause for depression. It's a mood disorder of the mind. A person would get it and would have everything in their life going well for them, but yet would feel very depressed. But the other common causes are the D's, or would be divorce, departure, in other words, leaving away from home, leaving a loved one. Death is another one. Losing a job particularly, and having unhappy relationship problems, financial problems. Debt, of course, is another one of them. Bereavement is another serious cause of depression. And these are all amenable to antidepressants. We have very good antidepressants, despite what the media might say about antidepressants being so bad. They definitely have a place. We have good antidepressants these days. And the good thing about the antidepressants is they're not addicting. One can use them for at least 6 months. One should be using them for at least 6 months. And when one decides to come off them feeling much better, one should not stop it suddenly, but come off it gradually. Having said that, in my own experience, I've found that if the basic cause, like a debt, is resolved, or an issue that's causing the depression is resolved, rarely do people need to rely on medications. A very important management or tool in the management of depression is actually counseling. Too few people really go and seek counseling. They think by popping a pill, happy pill, their problems are solved. Sometimes just speaking to somebody about your problem, somebody professional, and why I stress the word professional is that there's an element of confidentiality, because very often women in particular are afflicted with deep-seated problems like early childhood abuse, like rape, a situation that women would feel terribly uncomfortable to speak with their partner, even their family members, because society tends to judge them. And speaking to a professional, you have that comfort knowing that your information is kept secret. The other reason that people seem not to want to seek help for depression is that there's this huge stigma to give that impression that if you had depression, you are a weakling, and it is not true at all. Presidents can have it, an ordinary pauper in the street can have it, it can afflict a great scientist, and many of you might have heard or read about the suicide of the late Professor Mayossi from British Care, who couldn't handle depression. And yes, in spite of all the best of medication, sometimes depression becomes intractable. But having said that, I do not think one should let it lie with you, because it affects not only the individual, it affects the family. And I would urge you, if any of you are suffering from depression, please go and seek help. Do not be shy, do not be afraid. I've come across several patients who have done extremely well on antidepressants, which are not very expensive any longer. And many of them, a vast majority, almost 90% of my patients, have come off the antidepressants. I hope this short video will give you some insight to this very debilitating and treatable condition. And one last thing I need to inform you, if you're listening to this, even children suffer from depression. And the difference here is that children do not have a way of articulating their depression or their symptoms. They seem to act out, they get irritable and get into all kinds of trouble. The other fact I need to mention is because it is not recognized as depression, but the mood is recognized, what a lot of people end up doing is they either end up using substances. And substances in themselves can cause depression. So you have a double whammy. You have depression, and you take a substance which can even make you depressed. So I would urge you, if you have depression, come off your substances, go and seek help, and I'm sure you'll be much better for it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be presenting a few more series of videos on mental health, which I hope will help my listeners, my viewers, and have a very pleasant day, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you once again. Robert Rapiti from Cape Town.